Welcome back to Inside City Hall. Over the weekend, hundreds of protesters marched across the Brooklyn Bridge, calling on Governor Hochul to reject a proposed expansion of a natural gas pipeline in the state. Back in May, Hochul appeared to be open to new pipeline projects after a meeting with President Trump, despite the state's effort to move away from fossil fuels. Following the Hochul-Trump talks, an Oklahoma-based energy company, Williams, filed a petition to revive the Northeast Supply Enhancement Project, which would run beneath New York's harbor to New Jersey. And it's also in talks to construct the Constitution Pipeline connecting upstate New York to Pennsylvania. Joining me now to talk more about all of this is Laura Shindell, the New York State Director at Food and Water Watch. Laura, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hundreds of people came out Saturday for this march. What do you think what do you think drove so many people to show up to the Brooklyn Bridge Saturday?
Yeah, New Yorkers came out in force on Saturday to reject proposals to build 3 massive fracked gas pipelines in New York. The Constitution Pipeline that would carry fracked gas from Pennsylvania through New York's southern tier, Catskills region, and the Capital region. That would clear-cut forests, require eminent domain, and would be 124 miles of pipeline crossing through hundreds of waterways. The other pipeline, the Williams Northeast Supply Enhancement Pipeline, or Williams-Nessie for short, would carry gas from Pennsylvania through New Jersey and then have 23 miles of pipeline built off the coast of New York City through Raritan Bay and then hugging the shores of Staten Island, Coney Island, and the Rockaways. And in order to build that pipeline, they would have to dredge the seafloor to lay the pipe. But toxic sediment lays dormant in New York Harbor from the industrial era. Mercury, copper, PCBs, that would all be churned up to build the pipeline. And that's why these pipelines were rejected, actually, years ago when Williams Company first applied to build them. New York State deemed them too toxic for our waterways. But now they're back, and New Yorkers are very angry that they are back and want to express their ire about the pipelines to Governor Hochul.
Has Governor Hochul directly expressed that she is considering these pipelines? What have we heard from her so far?
So what we know is that she had some sort of conversation with Donald Trump. President Trump claims he made a deal with Governor Hochul. She's hedged on admitting that.
Right, Hochul's not exactly saying that, yeah.
But what she has said is that she has an openness to all forms of energy and has signaled that she would entertain the projects. And since that reporting came out earlier this year, Williams Company applied to build the Williams-Nessie pipeline. And then Governor Hochul and her Department of Environmental Conservation deemed the application complete without any opportunities for public comment or public hearings, opened a public comment period, but one that is far shorter than is typical for New York, deciding if these pipelines would be appropriate.
And we're in that public comment period right now. Can you break it down for me? Which specific pipeline can New Yorkers go and give their public comment to right now? How long is the window open? What does this process look like?
Yeah, so pipelines need state permits to be built. They need to meet water quality standards. And so there is a public comment period open for the Williams-Nessie pipeline, the pipeline that would hug the shores of New York City beaches and affect New York City beachgoers and our climate. And that is open until Saturday, August 16th. So we have a few more days to voice our opinions and chime in. But Governor Hochul and her DEC did not schedule any public hearings, virtual or in person. The whole process has been rushed, and that is very troubling.
The people who do want to, chime in for this public comment period, how do they do it? Is there a website? How are these comments being taken in?
People can go to stopthewilliamsnessie, N-E-S-E, pipeline.org to learn about the pipeline and be directed to the comment prompts, all before 5 p.m. on August 16th.
Laura, any indication as to why President Donald Trump is so interested in the fate of these potential pipelines here in New York City or around the New York region?
Well, Donald Trump and his allies want to drill, baby, drill, and they see New York's protection of our waterways as a hindrance to their agenda. Not to mention, Williams Company, the pipeline company, has a guaranteed rate of return on building this pipeline of 14% guaranteed rate of return. So whether or not New Yorkers need these pipelines, which we don't, the pipeline companies profit from building them. And it's ratepayers who are forced to foot the bill. Ratepayers would be forced to pay $3.2 billion to build just that one pipeline in New York City. So it's really just a way to feed the fossil fuel industry's corporate greed at the expense of New Yorkers' wallets and public health.
Have you reached out to Williams? And if so, what have they said to you?
We have not spoken to Williams. They have a mission to make money. We have a mission to protect New Yorkers, keep our water clean, uphold our climate law, and make sure that our state is making decisions in the best interest of its people. Williams Company doesn't have that same goal.
500 New Yorkers on the Brooklyn Bridge, that is certainly a significant number of people, a significant message to Governor Hochul. Do you have any sense that she understands how many people are paying close attention to this? Have you gotten any indication that she may be reconsidering her position?
We hope she'll reconsider, and we will make sure she reconsiders because we're only getting started. When the Williams-Nessie pipeline was rejected in 2020, members of the entire New York congressional delegation were opposed to the pipeline. Levels of government, city council, state legislature, everyone was opposed to the pipeline, even Republicans. And so, especially given Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado's opposition, I think Governor Hochul should quickly realize she should be listening to New Yorkers, not cowering to Trump's bullying. She's tried to present herself as a counterweight to President Trump, but so far, it seems she's aligning herself with his energy policy.
So Laura, what do you say to people who point to increased demand for energy in New York City, and they believe perhaps these pipelines might help meet some of that demand?
Experts would say that the demand will be going down. We've passed lots of policies for energy efficiency, for making buildings more clean, less polluting. Also, Governor Hochul did approve a pipeline expansion in the Hudson Valley in February that was supposed to meet the so-called need. So all the experts that actually look at this say, we don't need this gas. And not to mention the Constitution pipeline that would go upstate. That gas is destined for New England, not New York.
You had the protest on Saturday. You've got the website up. What's next in terms of your campaign to try and stop these pipelines from becoming a reality?
Well, we are collecting thousands of public comments before that deadline on Saturday. We'll be delivering them at Governor Hochul's Manhattan office this Friday, but there will be lots more to come with outspoken legislators, community members from Staten Island, the Rockaways, Coney Island, making their voices heard that we don't want to be sold out to the fossil fuel industry.
Okay, Laura, Shindell, thank you so much for your time.